Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the confusing world of corporate finance so you don't have to. Today we're diving into Perella Weinberg Partners' latest report, and let's just say there's a little more than just numbers in this one. Get ready for some board shakeups alongside those financial tidbits. Alright, buckle up as we unpack this filing from Perella Weinberg Partners. We're looking at their reporting for August 1st, 2025, and it's a mix of business as usual and some notable board changes. Think of this report as a quick check-in on how the company is doing financially and who's at the helm steering the ship. The absolute earliest event they're reporting on here happened on July 30th, 2025. This is important because it sets the clock for when certain information became official inside the company, or when decisions were made that they are now legally required to tell us about. So, who is Perella Weinberg Partners? They are a global independent advisory firm. Basically, they're the folks companies call when they need expert advice on big things like mergers, acquisitions, or restructuring their finances. They're known for their high-profile clients and complex deal-making. Now for the juicy part, let's look at how their stock is doing. Their main offering is the Class A common stock, and you can find it trading under the symbol PWK on the Nasdaq Global Select Market. This is where investors are putting their money, so it's a key indicator of how the market perceives the company. This section is all about how the company performed financially, specifically for the second quarter that ended on June 30th, 2025. They announced these results with a press release on August 1st, 2025. Now, usually these press releases give us a snapshot of revenue, profits, and other key financial metrics that tell us if the company is making money. While this form just tells us that they released results, it doesn't actually give us the numbers in this summary. That said, they often embed these press releases as exhibits, which we'll get to. Think of this as a heads up that the company is sharing its scoreboard results, and it's usually a pretty important piece of information for investors. They often embed these press releases as exhibits, which we'll get to. Think of this as a heads up that the company is sharing its scoreboard results, and it's usually a pretty important piece of information for investors. This part is super important when you're reading any of these filings. Companies have to tell you that some of the things they say might be about the future, and those aren't guarantees. They use words like estimates, plans, or anticipates. If they say they expect to repurchase shares or plan to grow a certain division, it's not a done deal. Lots of things can happen to change those plans. This filing specifically mentions their share repurchase program, meaning they might be buying back their own stock. This can be a good sign, suggesting they think their stock is undervalued, or it can be a way to boost earnings per share without actually improving the underlying business. They're legally obliged to warn you that these future-oriented statements have risks and could turn out differently than they expect. It's their way of covering themselves legally, but it's also a good reminder for us to be critical of any rosy future predictions. Okay, this is where things get interesting from a leadership perspective. On July 30th, 2025, Perella Weinberg Partners didn't just announce financial results, they also shook up their board of directors. They actually added two new members, Huda Dabuzi and Edwin Bennett, making the board go from 9 to 11 members. These new directors are supposed to stick around until their annual meeting in 2026. Crucially, the board has declared both Ms. Dabuzi and Mr. Bennett as independent directors. This is a big deal because independent directors are meant to provide objective oversight and aren't tied to the day-to-day management or major shareholders. They also approved their appointments to key committees, the Compensation Committee, which decides how executives get paid, and the Audit Committee, which oversees the company's financial reporting and internal controls. This suggests they're bringing in fresh eyes and expertise, possibly to strengthen governance or oversee specific strategic areas. The filing also clarifies that these new directors weren't elected based on any special deals or understandings with other people. And importantly, there haven't been any recent related party transactions involving them that need to be reported. This means no shady dealings or personal benefit situations to worry about with these new appointments, at least according to this report. Like most companies, Perella Weinberg has a program to pay its directors who aren't full-time employees. Ms. Dabuzi and Mr. Bennett will be getting paid through this standard director compensation plan. While the specific amounts aren't detailed here, it's typical for directors to receive a mix of cash retainers and stock awards for their service. This confirms they're being compensated for their new roles. And here's where we find the actual supporting documents, particularly Exhibit 99-1. This is the press release the company issued on August 1st, 2025, announcing their financial results for the second quarter. This is likely where you'd find the actual numbers, the revenue, profit, and all those other financial metrics that tell us how Perella Weinberg Partners has been performing. Since this filing is primarily about announcing that press release and the board changes, the real financial meat is usually in that accompanying document. And finally, we have the cover page interactive data file. This is standard practice now. It's basically a digital package of the report that machines can read easily, which helps with data analysis for regulators and sophisticated investors. It's a bit technical, but it means the data is ready for automated systems. Now for the signatures. This is the official sign-off that makes the report legitimate. This signature from Alexandra Gottschalk, the Chief Financial Officer, confirms that the company stands behind the information presented in this report. She's essentially saying, yes, this is accurate. So what's the story here? Perella Weinberg Partners is making moves. They've brought in new independent voices to their board, which can be a sign of a company looking to strengthen its governance or adapt to changing market conditions. The timing, alongside their quarterly financial results announcement, suggests they want to present a united and transparent front. While this specific filing directs us to a press release for the financial nitty-gritty, the board changes are concrete and signal potential shifts in strategy or oversight. Looking at it from a broader perspective in the world of investment banking and advisory services, a stable and well-governed board is crucial for maintaining client trust and investor confidence. Adding independent directors can bring valuable perspectives and help prevent groupthink. The fact that they're highlighting the independence of these new members and confirming the absence of related party transactions is a positive signal for transparency and good corporate practice. Going forward, we'll want to keep an eye on how these new directors influence board decisions, especially concerning executive compensation and financial oversight. The success of their share repurchase program, mentioned in the forward-looking statements, will also be something to monitor. Are they buying back stock because they're flush with cash and see value, or is it a way to perhaps mask slower underlying business growth? Without the actual financial numbers from the press release highlighted here, it's hard to give a definitive opinion on their financial health. But the leadership changes indicate a company that is actively managing its governance. Remember, strong leadership and good governance often precedes strong financial performance, but they don't guarantee it. Alright, that's our breakdown of this Perella Weinberg Partners filing. What's your take on these leadership changes and what they might mean for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this deep dive was valuable, hit that like button and subscribe for more corporate insights. And don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description for more direct discussion and analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.